For me, workplace attire really has to be functional, and it has to be trendy, and it has to fit who I am as a person.
Professional but not constricting. Something that represents the organization or the company that you're working for, but also represents you.
The way that I define workplace attire is that it's kind of a very fluid thing. It really depends on the field that you're in.
Items that you wear that, for number one, make you feel comfortable in the workplace, but also are consistent with the overall vibe of the environment.
Something that makes me feel comfortable, confident. It makes others think I'm trustworthy, but it also falls into my aesthetics.
It's something that I feel confident in. I think oftentimes it is very whitewashed in professionalism, and so I made it a goal to challenge those notions, to represent who I was as a person, to have a pop of color, to really embrace it as a form of art, especially as an artist.
The way that I determine it is I think about workplace attire as being something that helps you to establish credibility. So I spend a lot of time thinking about what can I do for my audience.
Oftentimes I think about what my day looks like, if I have meetings, who I have meetings with, and that oftentimes drives what I'm going to wear.
I also work at a school, so I'm working with kids and I'm like running around a lot and sitting on the floor. So I always make my decision kind of based on like what I'm gonna need that particular day.
Honestly, it depends on my mood. It really switches from like super casual to like a little bit more dressy depending on like how I feel that day.
Right now, most of my clothing I do online shopping, mostly because I think aesthetically and also in terms of body type, those are always a challenge when buying professional clothing.
Go to upscale consignment stores and pick pieces that are, trendy and that are fashionable and that speak to the joy that I like to bring to my attire.
Had a professor who has really shown me how to step outside of the box when it comes to workplace attire. She wears these like really bright colors, these wonderful patterns, but they all make sense based on like the cut and style of the clothing themselves.
So I have a group chat with like a text chat with my best friends, and sometimes we just send each other pictures of our work outfits for inspiration.
One of them is a Spanish broadcaster. She's Puerto Rican. Her name is Giselle Blondet, and she's beautiful and Puerto Rican and has very similar body frame that I do, so that's very fun to watch her. Another person is Carolina Herrera, so she's a Latina famous fashion mogul designer, and I love following her and looking at what she puts together for the fashion shows.
Biggest advice for students who are like starting out building a professional wardrobe is two things. So I would say buy things that you actually like, and then buy things that are going to last.
I would say variety is the most important part. You don't always need to have a suit and a tie, but you should have one just in case.
So it's not so much how much you spend, it's just taking the time to find the pieces that, let's say, you like, you enjoy, and they are very popular in terms of, let's say, what you are trying to do.
Mix and match. I like to use I like to wear things that are semi-colorful. Get a few different colors of a shirt, a few different colors of pants, and a bunch of different ties. You can really mix and match a lot of different things.
Look for who are your role models. Look at what they're wearing, what you like about it. Does it connect with who you are as a person? That's really important, is to really identify what are the pieces that make you feel genuinely who you are.
In college, I had sweatpants and hoodies, and then I had to learn how to buy clothes, and then I went into what I thought was professionalism. All I had was black and gray, and it was boring, and then I felt sad at work, and then it kind of evolved. So I think it's first knowing who you are, who do you want people to know you as, and what presence you want to make in a room.
I prefer to wear something that's more gender neutral. I feel like as long as you feel what makes you comfortable, what makes you feel like you don't really have to fall into that stereotype of gender presentation. Just be you.
Our generation is weird, and we decide to say no to all of the preconceived notions of the world. So when you get into these positions of power, do what you like and set the trends that you want to set.
I would just encourage you to ask questions, and to take the initiative at times to encourage a wider range of workplace attire expectations.
So I'd say don't compromise your identity for your idea or someone else's idea of professionalism.